The New York Nonprofit Press, the industry standard for nonprofits, is a must-read for over 20,000 New York City and state executives. Those who know the nonprofit world count on the NYNP to deliver breaking news and get messages across into the nonprofit industry. Ads can be placed in our paper, daily emails, or on our website. For more information, visit nynp.biz or email publisher@nynp.biz. The New York Nonprofit Press, serving people who serve people.
Good morning. This is Ron Gold from Marketing Works. The name of the radio show is The Nonprofit Voice. Today we have two special guests. Our first show is with Michael Smith, the Executive Director of ACDS, and the second part of our show, which will be at 8:30, is with Patricia Kennedy from Springbrook, all the way from Oneonta. But first, let me get to Michael Smith, who has been on with us many times before, and I saved him the long drive from his house today, and I'm sure he's very happy about that. Michael, welcome.
Good morning, Ron. Good to be with you again.
It's good to be with you, and there's so many exciting things happening with ACDS this year. You're the executive director, and you have been with ACDS for how long?
Since 2004, 12 and a half years now.
Wow. And I heard it tripled in size, right?
Yes, we have, Ron. When I first got there, we had an annual budget of about $6.25 million, and this year we will approach $20 million. So it's been a constant growth pattern, which we're very proud of.
Well, when you first started, what was ACDS like? First of all, it was called the Association for Children with Down Syndrome, and
yes, that's our heritage. Ron is serving the child with Down syndrome. When we were founded, by the way, this is our 50th anniversary year. We were founded in 1966, and originally it was serving babies with Down syndrome, and that was 1966 was long before there was federal legislation requiring the education of all children, which passed in the mid 70s. So it was really a volunteer effort on the part of families who ultimately brought in staff and grew the agency. And but when I got there, our primary school in Plainview still was overwhelmingly children with Down syndrome, but also the school itself was probably only about half full. So we took the expertise, our staff took the expertise we had developed serving the babies with Down syndrome and expanded it to other populations as well. And right now we have almost an equal number. About 40% of the school is children with Down syndrome, about 40% are children on the autistic spectrum, and the other 20% of a variety of developmental disabilities that we also have come to serve over the years.
So during that time that you were changing over or adding different special needs children, preschool children, you were in the process of rebranding it because you weren't just serving the children with Down syndrome, you were serving all other special needs. So you were in the process of calling it.
Yeah, we the Association for Children with Down Syndrome became a misnomer. We weren't serving just children. We weren't just serving individuals with Down syndrome, and we weren't an association anymore. So the name didn't make a lot of sense. But part of what we haven't mentioned is that it beginning in about 1999, we opened our first adult group home. And now we have 54 residents in 9 homes, and they, interestingly enough, they predominantly are adults with Down syndrome who have been with the agency for 40 or more years in many cases. They came to us as babies and now have been with us through various changes and permutations of the agency. So we really are as our tagline says, that we are a lifetime resource for families, and we really like to think of ourselves that way. So we serve children from infancy through adulthood.
Now, in the Long Island area where you're located, you have almost like a waiting list of people that want to get in, and you have now expanded yourself into the Westchester area.
Yes, we did. Thank you for bringing that up. In just this year in September, we opened up a second preschool, serving at this point just 3 to 5 year olds in Scarsdale. It's actually a school that's right on the Scarsdale Yonkers border. Excuse me. And we had our ribbon cutting on October 25th. I know you know about that because you were there. And the State Assemblywoman Shelley Mayer cut the ribbon for us, and she's been wonderfully supportive, as has that whole community. We now have, we are opening our 5th class this coming Wednesday, and 6th class is scheduled for the beginning of December. And I've got a meeting with our architect this coming Tuesday morning to do the plans for further expansion. We think we will be serving, right now we have about 40 children there. We expect to be serving somewhere between 160 and 175 children in the next 12 months.
Well, they've opened their arms to you, the area, and especially Shelley Mayer being with the Assembly and being on the special education committees, and she's very big on this, and she really has noticed the need for what you serve, and she's been a big help. And it's not an easy process. It's not like, let's open up a new school. I mean, you've been working on this, Michael, for about 5 years.
Yeah, it's taken a while. We first had to find a site. We thought we had one in the Bronx, and I have background working in special education in the Bronx myself. That didn't pan out. We found this location, and we were skeptical at first that in that area in southern Westchester that there was a need, but we did a needs assessment. We worked with the Assemblywoman's office and found in southern Westchester there was a tremendous need. So we have been drawing at this point from New Rochelle, Yonkers, White Plains, Mount Vernon, Port Chester, and even up into mid and northern Westchester as well. But the State Ed Department and Office of Children and Family Services, as well as the City of Yonkers, the Building Department, et cetera, and the whole community has been tremendously supportive of the effort. And the need was there, and we can tell from the kids that were being referred to us that the need was overwhelming. What we found out, Ron, when we did the needs assessment, is that there were children from southern Westchester that were being bused, an hour and a half, 2 hours up to Ulster and Rockland County because there was nothing available for them in the southern part of the county. So, we've taken our history and expertise and expanded our footprint, and so far we're very happy with the results. And my board of directors' whole philosophy, and many of my board members, is that, if there's a need out there and we can address it, that's my mission, is to do that. So,
well, you have a stellar reputation. I think that make you, and so does ACDS, that it kind of made it easier for you to get all these approvals. And also, you have someone from the area who's been involved in the Bronx area in education, Rich Scotty, and I'm sure all of this put together is a reason that they've opened their arms to you so much.
Oh, I think it is. I mean, as we are audited all the time. We go through all kinds of visits from various state agencies, and if our reputation hadn't been solid and all the reports on us, and that we were, never forget, and that we were fiscally viable as well. You certainly know from your work with the nonprofit sector that in the environment in the last 7 or 8 years, a lot of nonprofits have struggled. And if you've got to run a good business in order to carry out your mission. And in the history of nonprofits, that hasn't always been the focus. But we combine solid programs with the solid financial structure, and that's why we've continued to grow. Well,
where are you drawing from in the school, in the new school in Westchester? Is it the Westchester area mostly? Is it from the Bronx? It's
nothing from the Bronx yet. Even though on Long Island, Ron, we do draw maybe 20 children a year from Queens. Generally, New York City school system would prefer to keep the kids within the 5 boroughs, but we have made ourselves known to the people in the Bronx. At this point, the Bronx has not chosen to send children to us, but that, there's almost always a waiting list for preschool special ed services in the Bronx. I know from my own history working there that that's the case. So, that may happen in the future. It hasn't happened yet. So we're drawing mostly from the cities and towns that I mentioned in southern Westchester at this point.
We're talking to Michael Smith, the executive director of ACDS, and this is their 50th anniversary celebration week, basically. But this next week, a week from today, you'll be celebrating your 50th anniversary at Oheka Castle. And this has been some year with all the events that you've had. You've had Family Fun Day. Last week you had a nice cake at the school. Tell us about everything that's going on for your 50th anniversary.
Yeah, we're going to draw this out. As I joke with staff, we're going to probably celebrate the 50th anniversary for about 3 years to get the maximum out of it. But we do have our major event, which is a week from today at Oheka Castle, as you mentioned. So far, we have commitments from about 350 people who are going to come, which we're very excited about. And we have one of these galas every year. It's the first time we've had it at this location. Everybody's very excited about it, and we get tremendous support. We are honoring one of our board members and her husband, Julie Rosbash, and her husband Steve, who had their son graduated from the school several years ago, and they've been, wonderfully supportive over the years of everything that we do. And the head of the committee, Ray Cardoza, is a longtime supporter. We serve his son Raymond, who's almost 19. I think he turns 19 next month, and they've been involved with us over the years, and Ray has run the gala committee this year and done a tremendous job.
And there's a playground at the school in his name, right?
The playground at the school was donated by his family,
which is wonderful. Yeah,
it's right outside my office. As you know, I look outside and I see the kids every day out there using the Cardoza family playground, and they've been tremendously supportive, and a lot of people have stepped up. Under the guidance of our board president, Jeanne Curley. Jeanne's been the board president for the last 5 years. His daughter, Bryn, graduated from the school several years ago, and it's a very committed board. We have a 15-member board, Ron. About half of them are parents of children and adults we serve, and the rest are people from the community who have donated their time. Some of them have been on the board 7 or 8 years, and only just because of their commitment to our mission, not because we serve a child or a sibling or a relative of theirs, simply because they believe in the work that we do.
Well, I work with a lot of different agencies, and I have to tell you that working with Jeanne Curley is just wonderful to have somebody that's supportive, and even after his child has graduated and isn't as involved in the school anymore as like she was, he's still involved, and he loves it, and he just brings so much to the table for you. And I love watching the two of you work together because it makes a difference. How was your birthday cake this week?
That was good. We actually had to choose. We don't quite know what day the agency was actually founded, so we chose kind of a random day, and we did that this Wednesday, I believe it was. I sort of lost track of the week. I guess it was Wednesday the 9th that we chose as our official anniversary date, and we had a wonderful video that the staff had put together of pictures going back many, many years of our students and staff, and then we had happy birthday 50th to ourselves, and then we had little events in the course of the day for all of the kids, and we all were wearing the Down syndrome colors, the yellow and blue, that day in honor of our history serving the Down syndrome population.
Well, you talk about that it's about 40% that's Down syndrome now. Do you see that number dropping?
It has been dropping, Ron, for a variety of reasons, having to do with earlier screening for if a woman's carrying a child with a disability, and so yeah, the numbers have gone down, but we still serve probably almost every child born in Nassau and Suffolk with Down syndrome, and it's still about, the numbers still show it's about 40 to 50 births a year. We will serve almost every one of those kids, maybe with the sole exception of kids way out on the East End, that it just doesn't work, logistically for us to serve them. But we'll pretty much serve all of them, and we still get a lot of referrals from Queens. A lot of the Queens referrals are for children with Down syndrome as well. So the birth rate clearly has gone down. But as I said, even 12 years ago when I first got there, we just couldn't fill the school up. There just weren't enough children born to fill our Plainview school. So we expanded, particularly to the kids on the spectrum. And that the history of that is that we now know from all the literature that somewhere between around 22% of children with Down syndrome also are on the autistic spectrum. In the past, you never really had to diagnose that because they were eligible for services just on the nature of their genetic disability at birth. But we already had expertise on serving kids on the spectrum, and we've just expanded that. And now we're finding in our school in Westchester that overwhelmingly the referrals we're getting there are for kids on the autistic spectrum.
Well, let me ask you a question, because what we're finding is that there seems to be more schools opening for autism. Is that true? Are you finding that now? Or is autism...
Are there more schools opening for that?
That's what we're finding. We seem to be seeing more and more agencies that are highlighting more autistic kids.
I think that's true because certainly the incidence of autism has gone up for reasons that we're not entirely sure of yet, but there are agencies who do that very well based on their history and background. We think we've developed an expertise in that over the years, and there's not a lot of growth in preschools. I think the growth in that population has been more in terms of the school age. But the preschool, which we only go up to age 5, so there's not been a lot of growth. And certainly the Long Island region for the 3 to 5-year-old population is pretty much saturated. Unfortunately, there are a lot of schools, especially in Suffolk, that have empty classrooms that just aren't getting enough referrals. So we don't see a lot of additional need for the preschool population for that. It's probably more the school age, but we don't provide school age services.
Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, we don't want to leave this interview without mentioning some of the people that have been there at ACDS, not for the 50 years, but people like Cecilia Barry, your principal, who's been there for over 30 years. Do you want to mention any of them and thank them?
Yeah, a couple. And I want to mention somebody who we lost recently as well, but we do have one teacher, Pam Weiss, who is in her 38th year.
Wow.
We have another teacher, Sharon Katz, who is right behind her at 36 or 37 years. We do have Cecilia, who's over 30, and recently we lost our Director of Adult Services, Linda Sperber, who had been with the agency 32 years. She developed most of our adult programs, our Day-Hab program, our Medicaid Service Coordination, our 5+, and Linda passed away in May and was a significant loss to us, and she was another one with a long history. So we're very proud of that people stay with us for a long time. We probably have I probably got more than 50 staff. We have about 350, between 350 and 400 staff now with Westchester. We probably have about 50 people who have been with the agency for more than 25 years, and that's pretty special.
And I have to tell you, Michael, when you walk into either of the schools, there's such a positive feeling from everybody and a smile that you get from everyone who works there. And that's not easy to get, as much as you want them to be. So you should be very proud of the people that work there, because especially when you talk about ACDS and they bring up Cecilia or they bring up Jane or they bring up Linda, everything they say is all with a positive. I mean, they're great people. Sorry about Linda. She was a wonderful person, and the commitment that they've had has been wonderful for you. And Michael, you have done a great job. I mean, tripling it. You've gotten that kind of support from your board to keep going in Westchester, and I'm looking forward to working with you for many years in the future as we continue to grow. Any last words? How can they get in touch with you? Can they still buy a ticket for the event on?
They can still get a ticket for the event. They can call us at 516-933-4700 and ask for Mary Ellen at extension 203. We will sell tickets right up to the end if anyone's interested in attending or supporting the event. They also can go to our website, which is
ACDS.org. Thanks, Mike. I got to get off. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much.